Hello everyone. This video, guys, will be about general trigonometry, the most simplest parts of trigonometry. Before we start, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. If you're a regular, guys, I really hope you coming back here is really helping you out to prepare for your exams. Okay, today we are just doing the general trigonometry. General trigonometry, guys, it will just mainly focus on the SOHCAHTOA. All right, together. Remember that we have trig ratios, right? The most trig ratios that we deal with is just sine and cos. All right, together. This thing simply means that if you have a right angle triangle like this, I have theta here. So this side will be the one which is opposite my angle. Are you together? And then this one, it is adjacent my angle. And then the longest part is called the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is always opposite the 90 degrees. Are you together? So this thing simply means that since I have that means the sine of angle theta should be always equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Are you together? Then the cos of angle theta should be equal to SOHCAH. It's A and H. That means it's adjacent over hypotenuse. And then the tan of angle theta, it's SOHCAHTOA. After the letter T, the following vowels are O and H, or the following alphabets are O and A rather. So it's opposite over adjacent. Are you together? But these things, they can be regarded as X, Y, and R, right? The hypotenuse is always the radius. Are you together? Since we have our right angle like this, the vertical part is the opposite one, hence it is Y. So that means sine can be written as Y over R as well. Y over R. Cos is X over R, and then tan is Y over X. Are you together? But guys, please remember that on the first video, lesson number 28, we spoke about reciprocal identities. Are you together? Reciprocal identities, we know that cosec, I'm doing the cosecs and sec because they are basic trigonometry and they are being asked in grade 10. Cosec is the reciprocal identity for sine. Are you together? So it simply means that cosec is just an inverse for sine. Since sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, it simply means that cosec will be hypotenuse over opposite, which can be written as what? As R over Y. Are you together? Sec is the reciprocal identity for cos, so it simply means an inverse for cos. That means it will be hypotenuse over adjacent. Are you together? Which can be written as R over X. And then cot is the reciprocal identity for tan. That means it's adjacent over opposite, which can be written as X over Y. Are you together? So do you agree that if you know X, Y, and R for every given right angle triangle, you can answer you can answer anything that you want. Are you together? For example, let's say let's say I'm given something like this. Tan theta is equal to negative 4 over 3, and I'm told that theta can only be found in the first and second quadrant. Are we together? Okay, firstly, I know that tan theta is equal to x over what? Over y, ne? No, rather, but y over x. The first thing I need to do, I just need to draw my Cartesian plane. Are we together? And then tick where tan is negative. Why am I doing that? Because tan theta is equal to a negative number. Are we together? I know that tan is negative in the second and the fourth quadrant. Are we together? But please note that I was given a restriction of where I can find the angle of theta. The angle of theta can be can only be between 0 and 180. That means it can be in the first quadrant or the second quadrant. I will always draw my right angle triangle whenever I have the most number of ticks, right? Since I have the most number of ticks in the second quadrant, that means my right angle triangle will be like this. My angle of theta will be this one, right? So since I have a negative 4 over 3, by definition, tan is y over r. And since my triangle is above the x-axis, I know that y is positive. That means x should be negative, right? Because if I'm dividing two numbers, and I get a negative answer, it simply means that those numbers have different signs. Are you together? One is positive and the other is negative. But I know that since my triangle is above the x-axis, y will be positive. That means I'll have a 4 there. And then since my x will be negative, since the graph is on the left hand side of the y-axis, that means x is negative. That means I'll have a negative 3 here. The only thing that is missing is the hypotenuse, right? How can I find the hypotenuse? According to Pythagoras theorem, the hypotenuse can be found by saying r squared is equal to x squared plus y squared, right? So this is 4 squared plus a negative 3 squared. This will give me 16 plus 9, which is 25. And then I'll just introduce square roots on both sides. I'll simply get 5. This thing simply means that r is equal to 5. And then now I can answer every question that can be given to me. I can answer every question that might be given to me. They can say to me, find the sine of theta. Number 1, I know that sine of theta by definition is always opposite over hypotenuse. So this thing will be just 4 over 5. Number 2, I can be asked to find sec of theta. Sec is the reciprocal for cos. Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, which simply means that sec will be hypotenuse over adjacent, which will give me a negative 5 over 3. Are you together? Number 3, they can say to me, determine the value of cot. I know that cot is the reciprocal for tan. I can just use this one and just flip it around. Or if I've forgotten that I was given this thing, I can simply go to my right angle triangle and know that cos is the reciprocal identity for tan. Since tan is y over x, simply means cot will be equal to x over y, negative 3 over 4. Then I'll find my answer. This is basically what you need to know for the grade 10 work. Are you together? It can be given to you like this. Maybe we are told that sine of angle beta is equal to sine of angle beta is equal to a positive 3 over 5. And then now you're not told where beta is, but you're being told that you can only find this where cos beta is negative. Are you together? It's the same thing, guys. The only thing we need to do, because we will be asked to not use the calculator, né? Or you can just pause the video and do this thing on your own. Number one, maybe they'll say to you, calculate cos beta. Number two, cot beta. Number three, sec squared beta plus cosec squared beta all over cot. Then number four, now let's just do this three. Let's just do this three now. Okay, for this one, I'm given that sine theta is equal to a positive number, right? I know that sine theta is positive in the first and second quadrant out together, but I'm told that this thing can only happen where cos is negative. I know that cos is negative in the second quadrant and the third quadrant. Where I have the most number of ticks, that's where I will have my right angle triangle, right? Since by definition sine is opposite over adjacent, or also known as y over r, that means this is my y and this is my r. And it makes sense because y is positive, and yes, my triangle is above the x-axis, so y has to be positive, right? So all I need to do is to find the value of x. I'll always use the Pythagoras theorem to do that. I know that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, right? X squared is equal to, x squared, I don't know the value of x, but I know that y is 3, and then r is 5, right? So I have x squared plus 9 is equal to 25. So x squared, when I take the 9 to the other side, it will become out of 25 minus 9, which will be 16. Then I'll just introduce square root on both sides, then x. Whenever I do so, whenever I introduce square root on both sides, my right hand side must always say plus or minus, and the square root of 16 is equal to 4, right? Since my right angle triangle is on the left hand side of the x-axis, this thing simply means that x is equal to a negative number. That means this is minus 4 here. Now I have the value of x, y, and r. I can answer each and every question that is at hand. Are you together? Why? Because I now know that x is negative 4, y is 3, and r is 5. Please note, guys, that r will be forever positive. X is negative 4, y is 3, and then r is 5. The cos of beta, cos by definition is x over r, so this is minus 4 all over 5. They did say that cos is negative. Yeah, well, now they want me to find the cot of beta. Cot is x over y. Remember that cot is the inverse of tan, right? And tan is y over x. That means cot will be x over y. So this will be negative 4 all over 3. Okay, and now I must deal with number 3. Number 3, I have sec squared beta plus cosec squared beta all over cot, right? For sec squared beta, sec is the opposite of cos. By definition, cos is what is x over r. That means sec will be r over x. I'll have 5 all over negative 4 all squared plus cosec. Cosec is the reciprocal for sine. By definition, sine is y over r. That means cosec will be r over y. This will be 5 over 3 all squared. And then I'll have cot beta. Cot is the opposite for sine. Oh, but I did find cot. Cot is just negative 4 over 3. Cot is the opposite for tan. Since tan is y over x, that means cot will be x over y, right? Then all I need to do is to just punch my calculator. I'll have 25 over 16 plus 25 over 9. This thing is equal to minus 4 over 3. I can multiply everything by the LCD here, né, guys? My LCD will be 144. I can, because whenever I deal with fractions, I don't want to have fractions within a fraction. I want whole numbers all over whole numbers, right? Whenever I divide, whenever I multiply 25 over 16 multiplied by 144, I'll get 25 times 9 plus this will give me 25 times 16 all over 44 divided by 3. 44 divided by 3. What can I get? Isn't it 48? I think it's 48. So this is minus 4 times 48. Okay, I can take out the common factor there because I'm lazy to use my calculator. Just say 9 plus 16 this is 25, guys, multiplied by 25 all over 4 times 48. And then you can punch your calculator to find your answer. So this is how, guys, you deal with tick and draw for both grade 10 and 11. Are you together? And then for the grade 12 part, that's where there is introduction of double and compound angles. Are you together? For the grade 12 part, you might be given something like this. Maybe you're told that if sine of angle P is equal to 4 over 5 and the cos of angle Q is equal to 5 over 13. Are you together? And then let me see. And then you're just asked to find maybe they can say to just find the value of sine P plus Q, né? and then you are told that maybe Q is in the first quadrant, and also P is in the first quadrant. So all you need to do, like guys, is just draw the two right angle triangles, right? This one will be for P and the other one will be for Q. Are you together? They are both on the first quadrant because yes, sine is positive here and here, and I'm restricted for P to be here. So the first quadrant will have the most number of ticks. Same applies to Q, right? Since I'm given sine, this will be 4 and I'll have a 5 there. Whenever I do my Pythagoras theorem, I'll have a 3 there. Are you together? And then I'm given cos of Q is equal to 5 over 13. This is 5 and I have 13 there. And then that means here I must have 12, but let me confirm. 13 squared minus 5, 169 minus 25 is equal to 144. Yeah, yes, that's correct. I'll have a 12 there, né? So now I can simply calculate the value of sine P and cos P. Sine P plus Q. Since I have a compound angle, I must simply expand my compound angle identity. This will be sine P multiplied by cos Q plus cos Q multiplied by sine P. No, man. It's vice versa. It's cos P multiplied by sine Q. It's sine of the first angle multiplied by cos of the second angle plus cos of the first angle multiplied by sine of the first angle. So this thing will simply give me the sine of angle P. I go to the triangle with angle P. It's y over r, 4 over 5. Cos of angle Q is 5 over 13. Cos of angle P, it's 3 over 5, and then sine of angle Q is 12 over 13, and then I'll have 20 all over 65 plus 24 all over 65. So this thing will give me 44 all over 65. Are you together, guys? Let me confirm. 13 times 5, this is 15. Yeah, 65. Yeah, that's correct. And then maybe they said to us, determine the value of sine 2p. Second question. I know that I have to expand sine 2p by saying 2 sine p cos p, right? Sine p, I go to the right angle with angle p. Sine p is 5 over 3. Ha. Manganga. Sine p is 4 over 5. Then cos p is 3 over 5. This thing will give me this is 12, this is 24 over 25. Are you together? Then maybe I was asked to find the cos of P minus Q. Same thing applies. Just expanded the compound angle. Cos of the first angle multiplied by the cos of the second angle. Since I have a minus there, I'll have a plus. Sine of the first angle multiplied by the sine of the second angle. Cos of P will give me 3 over 5. Cos of Q is 5 over 13 plus sine of P will give me 4 over 5. Sine of Q will give me 12 over 13. Alright, together. Then this thing will give me 15 multiplied by 65 plus 48. Why did I say multiply? Divide by 65, right? And then this will give me 48 and 15. This is 63 over 65. So guys, this is how you just apply these things of double angles in general trigonometry. If you are doing grade 12, né? Some point you might be given something like this. Maybe you are told that cos of 11 degrees is equal to x. Alright, together. Then number 1, you must calculate the sine of 11 degrees. Number 2, the cos of 22 degrees. Number 3, the sine of 22 degrees. Number 4, maybe we'll find the cos of 5.5 degrees. Since I'm given the angle, I know that I'll have a trig ratio. I'll have a right angle like this, né? Whereby I'll have 11 degrees there. By definition, cos is x over r. So if I have x here, that means my hypotenuse was 1. Because if I have a number, that means its denominator is 1. Are you together? So my adjacent side is x, my hypotenuse is 1. Simply means that my opposite will be 1 minus x squared. Right? So now I want to find sine 11. All I need to do is to say opposite over hypotenuse. I'll have 11. I'll have 1 minus x squared, all divided by 1. I don't have to worry about that. And then cos 22 cos 22 can be written as cos of 2 multiplied by 11 degrees. We can all see that this thing is a double angle for cos, so I'll simply say this is 2 cos squared 11 degrees minus 1, which is 2 x squared minus 1. All together. And then now for me to find sine 22, this thing can be written as sine 2 multiplied by 11 degrees, right? This is 2 sine 11 multiplied by cos 11, right? Okay, 2 sine 11 is 1 minus x squared, and then cos 11 is x. So the final answer is 2x multiplied by the square root. Are you together? And then now I want to find the cos of 5.5. Please note that cos of 5.5 can be found like this. We were given the cos of 11 degrees, right? And the cos of 11 degrees can be written as the cos of 2 multiplied by 5.5. Are you together? 2 multiplied by 5.5, right? But please recall the fact that cos 11 is just equal to x. Are you together? And this thing over here is the double angle for cos, which can be written as what? As 2 cos squared 5.5 degrees minus 1. All I need to do is to just isolate cos 5.5 degrees. I'll take the one to the other side. I'll have x plus 1 is equal to 2 cos squared 5.5 degrees. And then whenever I divide both sides by 2, I'll have x plus 1 all over 2 is equal to cos squared of 5.5 degrees. Then I'll take the square root both sides. That means cos of 5.5 degrees is just the square root of x plus 1 all over 2. So this thing simply means the answer here is the square root of x plus 1 all over 2. Please guys, just do these things, guys. Like they are so repetitive and they're boring. This is the basic parts of trigonometry. Together in this video I just did from grade 10 to 12 because it's one and the same thing. The only difference is that in grade 12 they're introducing the compound and double angles, and also half angles as we just did with 5.5. Are you together? But just know that all the half angles are derived from the double angle for cos. You don't have to worry about that. So if you no, let me just close it. Thank you guys. Please wait for more videos.